Our next speaker, head of the Granite Rock, guy that you have come and know and love here. He's been running the board for me all day, keeping the mic working. Skip Murphy, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon. The bigger the government,
the smaller the citizen.
Indeed. The bigger the government,
Smaller the citizen.
oh come on, you're lazy. Louder. The bigger the government, that's better. Does everybody agree with that here?
Yeah.
Does anybody disagree with that here? Sir with the green shirt from Granite State Progress. You guys don't agree with that. You really don't. Do you?
You don't know what I believe. Let's arrest them.
Well, let me give you, one of these cameras is yours. Let me give a message to Zandra Rice Hawkins, the Executive Director of Granite State Progress. She used to use these words against me when we used to meet up at events. So I want to say, Zandra, from your favorite homophobic, misogynist, xenophobic, racist, sexist, best buddy, good afternoon. We are here about liberty. Socialism is not. Big government, a statist government, is not. Pretty much this deep into the speaker list, everything I was going to say is gone. But I will talk about a couple of things. Karen earlier said, bang on the door. People here have said, go ahead and write letters to Attorney General. I would say, just for the heck of it, write to Jean Shaheen, Carol Shea Porter, Maggie the Red Hassan, and Annie Custer. They won't listen, but you can call and you can smirk. No, indeed, you can start that. And if anything else, it's just political theater. And that's why Granite State Progress is here, by the way, for political theater. They're looking for the soundbite that they can use on their site or in emails or what have you. So hopefully I've given you one. Pastor Garrett said, how did we get into this mess? It's a very easy answer. We've gone away from the Constitution, and we have a fifth column called socialism here in New Hampshire and across the country. So, progressivism, just another politically correct term for incremental socialism. Everything that almost all of us here stand for, they stand against. That is how we get into this mess that we're in. This is how Jerry Delemus is in the mess that he is in, because of government overreach. The bigger the government, the smaller the citizen. Think about that, folks. We were founded on the idea of individual liberty, of a sovereign citizen, that we did not have to ask the government for permission to do things. That for once, there was no right of king. The kings that talked to God, that God talked to the kings, and then the aristocracy talked to us, the commoners. Instead, like the Reformation that Martin Luther did, our founders did the same thing politically. That we were the sovereigns, that government reported to us. Unfortunately now, we see the opposite. That we must now get on our knees and beg for permission to do a lot of things nowadays. I dare you to come up with a single area of your life where government has not intruded. I've done this mental exercise before, and I can't think of anything or anyone that can say, I can think of one. Hi, take my picture. Granite State Progress is among those that loves bigger government. Zandra Rice Hawkins has made it quite clear over the years with her stances and with her political stunts. These are the people that we marched against. These are the people who we stand up to say, no more. Folks, I have been privileged to use Granite Rock as a voice for liberty in this state. I am thankful that many of you read Granite Rock. I wish I could do more. but I do what I think I can do best. But I reiterate what was said earlier by Karen. We are in a special state. We are in a small state. And I have learned by personal experience, one person can make a difference. One person can sway opinions that they otherwise wouldn't do. It is often said there's no more Tea Party, even though I have seen the flags. Well, the Tea Partiers did their rallies, and we tried to do a lot of things to say no more. And then we got to work politically. We went out and did things. We ran for offices. We helped others, like-minded people, get into office. And I'm going to tell you now that all of you need to be doing the same thing. It's nice to come to a rally like this. I don't get out very much lately. But run. Local level if you can. Further up if you can and will. But always keep in mind, one person makes a difference. Because the bigger the government, the smaller the citizen. It is our duty to turn around and say, the bigger the citizen, the smaller the government. I like the idea of putting government into a burlap bag, tying a rope around it, and throwing it into a full bathtub. Heresy, according to Granite State Progress, but that's really what our founders wanted, that we, the civil society, should have the majority of decision-making here in this country. That it was supposed to be a big buffer between the people and government. Granite State Progress and others of that same ilk believe completely opposite. We could say that. We could say that. Because if you look at their, well, a few months ago, during the campaigns, a lot of top-level Democrats were asked, what is the difference between Democrats and socialists? And not one could or would answer that question, because they knew that there is no difference. When you look at the manifestos from years past from the Communist Party USA, and you look at the Democrat Party platform today, I don't see much of a difference. This is what we're up against, folks. And with that, I will say that Jerry Delemus is one who truly believes that the bigger the government, the smaller the citizen. He stood up to be that one. Something that I would have to say that I couldn't do. But he stood up in the best way that he could to make a stand to say, no more big government. And you've heard story after story so far from the previous speakers of what has happened from that bigger government. This is tyranny. Make sure you get that down, please. Folks, I thank you for your time, your willingness to come out on a Saturday afternoon to spend your valuable time here in support of Jerry Delemus. And always keep saying, the bigger the government, the smaller the citizen. Thank you.
Croc tape.